Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and the experimental mode just updated for Overwatch, you know, the card where they use experiments to test out new buffs and nerf for heroes, and I think we just got one of the biggest experimental reworks for heroes in the smallest way possible. So let's talk about what just recently happened. Only 4 heroes got changed, 3 of which are tanks, but the other hero is Reaper, and he's still related to tanks because he's still one of the best tank busters in Overwatch. But out of all the changes, Orisa has to be the biggest, where her fortify ability now prevents critical headshot damage. Every single time you go gold body with Orisa, nobody can get headshots on you. And I will go into more detail after I finish off the rest of the changes, but this is huge for Orisa because she quite literally has the biggest headshot hitbox in the whole entire game. And that's especially important to remember when you look at the Reaper changes. This isn't just a buff, but this isn't just a nerf, but when you look at the spread of his shotgun shells, oh my god, are you going to be getting a lot more kills, a lot more consistent kills with the experimental Reaper build right now because bullets aren't likely to be spraying everywhere. But when you throw distance into the equation, the damage nerf really isn't that much of a nerf. Up close, there's not much of a difference, and then at medium range, it's also not that big of a difference, but at long range, because of the spread for Reaper is so much smaller, that means you're getting a lot more kills from farther distance, making Reaper a sniper. Not a sniper, okay, that's an exaggeration, but he is noticeably better at longer distances. And we're gonna have to talk about Reaper because most people are gonna be talking about Orisa, but forgetting that Reaper is so much better. But before we move on to those 2 heroes, Winston also got changed where they redistributed his armor, giving him 50 extra armor but 50 less health, meaning that he's gonna be a lot more buffer and last a lot longer in team fights. And Hammond also got a nerf that I'm not able to show that well, but his knockback got reduced by 25%, meaning that you're gonna be hitting enemies a lot less farther than where you were beforehand. And that's all the changes in this experimental update. One of the smallest updates, but what I feel like to be one of the biggest. Now, yes, 13 heroes aren't getting changed like that one time where we got a huge experimental rework, but the fact that so many meta-defining heroes in this update are getting changed. Hammond, the best tank to play right now, surprisingly. Winston, well, he's not the best, but he's not the worst. The meta always seems to be good whenever Winston's in the meta. Then we got Reaper, one of the best heroes to play against so many of these tanks like Winston and Wrecking Ball, and just a lot of tanks in general. But then we have Orisa, what is literally the worst tank right now, and that's not up for debate. Statistics say that Orisa is just one of the worst tanks because she really doesn't offer anything unique to the table as terms of a main tank. She has the worst shield, and she has the most likeliness of getting down in a team fight compared to Reinhardt or Sigma. And it's really due to the fact that she doesn't have a lot of forms of protection, where Reinhardt does have that giant shield, and Sigma does have his sucky suck ability where he's able to absorb so much damage. Orisa only has her fortify ability, and that really didn't do much, but now with this experimental update, while it's not meta defined, it's a step in the right direction to allow her to survive in these team fights, because y'all have to realize that she's the main tank. She's supposed to be at the front lines and absorbing all these damage, but she can't really do that if she doesn't have a shield or any ability to prevent damage from killing her. So while yes, this is a huge change for Orisa, and admittedly a needed change for Orisa, in my personal opinion, and again, this is just my initial thought, it could easily change, I don't think this is going to send her to the #1 spot in the tank category. I don't think she's going to redefine the meta, I don't think she's going to make an uproar, but what I think this is going to do, which is what I hope for every single update, is allow Orisa players to play Orisa. Now, whenever it comes to me and tank, I'm not a good Reinhardt player, and I'm a terrible Sigma player, but Orisa, I'm somewhat decent with her. She's the reason why I got to Grandmaster, and then after Double Shield and she got nerfed, of course, I dropped out of Grandmaster because my main tank that I play isn't viable anymore. Zarya Reinhardt combo was too lethal, and the Double Shield took over with Sigma and Reinhardt, but now Orisa, while she still doesn't necessarily have a place, she can survive on her own if she really tried, or if a good Orisa player is controlling them. But if we're going to be talking about tanks, we gotta talk about Reaper. The #1 tank counter honestly got a buff with this update, and not enough people are going to be talking about Reaper because they don't compare experimental with the live version of that hero. That's why I like bringing these videos so that you can really see the changes, because on paper they might seem extremely OP, but then in execution they might not make a difference. But here, this seems like it's such a small change, but in execution, I mean, you saw the difference. It took a whole entire extra clip to take out that Roadhog from long distance on the live servers. Now, obviously, yes, it's against a defensive defenseless Roadhog that is standing still, that is not healing himself or getting heals from his own teammates. But the fact of the matter is, you're a lot better at a longer distance when playing Reaper, and that was his biggest downfall, was that he not only had to get in the mix of things, but a lot of time he had to flank around and still get his hands dirty. Now, while you're not going to be sniping enemies like I jokingly said beforehand, you can play at a much larger distance and be a little bit safer against the Roadhog hook, or most notably from the McCree flashbang or the Brigida stun, you know, stuff like that. So while you might be doing less damage in the long run, the fact that you're able to hit more bullets on a target because the spread is so much tighter and be at longer distance, I think you're not only going to be dying less with Reaper, but I think you're still going to be getting the same amount of kills with him. So really, is this a nerf to Reaper, or is this making him an already a better hero than he is right now? I don't think he's the best hero, but on competitive, I'm seeing a lot of flanking Reapers being successful with the flank, because I don't think there's a lot of heroes that are able to stop him, because you have something like Hammond that isn't really built to deal with the Reaper. You have Sigma that, yeah, you do have a rock, but you have to charge it, and if a smart Reaper sees that you're getting rock from the ground, he's gonna go in his waveform and just get on out of there. I think you're gonna see a lot more Reapers in competitive because he's a lot better at longer distance, and that was his biggest downfall, was that he can't play at long distance. Well, now he can. And then with this Hammond change, well, that is kind of his biggest annoying feature, was the fact that he knocks so many people around. A 25 distance reduction was kind of needed, but I don't think it's going to be taking him away from the #1 spot or the #2 spot. Hammond in general is just one of those heroes that, I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all, I don't think deserves the #1 spot, but I think his appeal is the main reason why he is at the #1 spot right now, and because he doesn't really need anybody. Yeah, Zarya bubble would be nice every now and then, but a solo tank player can do some work with Hammond. I think after a year and a half or whenever he released, people finally figured out how to play Hammond, and they realized his powerful utility ability, being able to just knock heroes around, be a solo dolo tank, and cause chaos, because he sure loves to do that, man. He sure loves to bring me pain, because I can't stop him. You know, I'm over here playing Mei, and Mei is one of the worst DPS right now, so not only can I not freeze him, but I can't compete. I can't compete with that cute, adorable little hamster. But then in terms of the Winston change, my boys, this isn't gonna do much. I mean, it's gonna help Winston players survive a little bit, but he's not gonna be taking the #1 spot anytime soon. But one thing that is surprising is that this is only his 3rd change in the past 4.5 years of his existence, ever since Overwatch originally released. He got his bubble buff so that whenever you place a bubble, the cooldown activates once you place it, and then he got his shield HP reduction, where all the shields got reduced whenever double shield was overtaking the meta, and now he got extra armor. God, Winston barely gets any changes. But I want to know what you think about all these updates for heroes. Do you think Orisa is going to be the #1 tank, and do you think I'm wrong? Or do you think Reaper is not going to be OP? In fact, he's going to drop from where he's at right now. Just let me know. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.